Another area that I find younger children as well as children with math difficulties have problem with is number automaticity. Thinking in terms of a sequence of numbers going forward as well as backwards. Counting forwards and as well as counting backwards. It's not an automatic process for younger kids. For us, if you were to ask me, I have 5 baseball cards, and I get 3 more, or 2 more. I automatically think 7. I don't need to count 6, 7. But for younger kids, they do need to go through that process, and that's a natural process for kids to go through, and they have to go through that process in order for them to develop connections and for them to develop that automaticity in numbers. Um, another Another thing I like to do with kids to develop that automaticity in numbers, counting forward as well as backwards, um, is a game called Spit. Spit is a game that I played when I was younger. I'm sure many people have played. My age have played this game, as well as people who are older than me remember playing Spit. So it's something I grew up with. A usual Spit game uh, will use regular playing cards, including Jack, Queen, tens, and well, we don't use jokers, so we can take out the jokers. Um, but our objective here is to develop the automaticity with numbers from 1 through 10. So asking kids to assign values to Jack, Queens, and Kings, it's not something that I would want to do at this point. So I'm going to take out all the face cards. And I'm actually going to keep the aces. Um, you can do one of two things if you're playing Spit with the kids. You can actually cross out the A and put a number 1 if they have a difficult time thinking in terms of an ace is 1, or you can just leave it if they're okay with it. Um, the reason why is because your usual deck will start with a 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it might be a difficult concept with Spit, especially since we're working with sequencing. So one of two things you can do is you can leave in the ace, cross out the A, put a 1, or if they're okay and they recognize the ace as a 1, that's fine as well. So now we're just going to set up our um, our piles. I've already set up my opponent's piles across for me, so we need 2 players. But this is my opponent's Spit pile, and I'll have my own Spit pile as well. So now I'm just going to set up my cards. So 1 card face up, 1 card face down, 1 card face up, 2 cards face down, 1 card face up, 3 cards face down, 1 card face up. Usually a Spit game will actually have 5 piles, but since we have less cards that we're working with, because we've taken out some of the face cards, I just like to use 4 piles. It gives me a manageable number of Spit cards. So one of the rules I like to tell kids is when we have our piles in front of us, we always have to have 4 piles, 4 cards facing up. And also the second thing is we always double up. So if we have a double, we would pile it on. So let's see, I'm just going to use an example here. So for, if we had, when we're making our piles, if we had 2 6s, what we do is we would double up. We put a 6 on the 6th pile, and we'd open up this card over here. But I'm just going to put this back. Just want to show you as an example. So this is my Spit pile over here. This is my opponent's Spit pile. So once we're both ready to play, we yell out 1, 2, 3, Spit, and we open up our Spit piles. And the object of the game is to get rid of all our cards. I guess I took off the wrong cards. I'm just going to double up. So the way you get rid of all your cards is both of these piles are in play. So I can put cards on either pile. So the way that we get rid of our cards is we put cards that are the same, one above or one below. So for the number 7, we can put one above, which is 8, or one below, which is 6, or if we have a 7, we can put a 7 because it's the same number. So for a 9, we can put a 10, and one below would be an 8. So one thing I also want to kind of mention is with the 10. Now, once we get to 10, that's the last number in our that's the highest and last number in our deck. So what comes after a 10 would be a 1, which would be the ace. For on top of a 10, you can put one higher, which it's not one higher, but you're just starting the cycle of numbers over again. Would be a 1, or one lower would be a 9. So I put a 9 there. I open up. I can put a 7 over here. I'd open up. Now, once both players realize that they can't go anymore, there's nothing in play, or there's nothing playable, we both say 1, 2, 3, spit. And this is where you actually start seeing kids starting to develop strategies and becoming more automatic. They see a 2, they recognize 2, 3, 4. And it's not something that they develop automatically right away, but as they get more practice and experience with it, it becomes more automatic of a process. And it's something that's pretty an amazing process to watch. So basically the game ends when you're finished with all your cards over here. You actually pay spit in multiple rounds. So if I were to let me just say, for example, I'm just gonna so let's say I run out of piles over here. Actually, I only have one card left. What I would do is I would open up my spit pile, create new piles, double up. Now let's say I've used my spit pile. I've used my spit pile. I only have one card left. Now what I do is I would put my last card on where I can, and then I would slap down the smallest pile. My opponent at the same time will be trying to make sure that the minute I put down my 9, he slaps his hand down and tries to steal the smallest pile, and then we would start again with the next round, and the game will keep going until one person has no cards whatsoever. It's a great game. Kids love it, and they actually develop number automaticity and don't even realize that they're learning something. So I hope you enjoy.